So did you know that that's what you wanted to do, was comedy, or did you kind of fall into it because you were naturally good at it?
I think it was intuitive. I think it was intuitive because my parents obviously did not think that anybody can make a living doing comedy. And so it was very...
Especially in the United States, if you're in Russia. The thought of ever making in the United States was like zero, probably.
Well, I don't think they even considered that at that time. No, it was, we were very much isolated, and no one that we knew was in show business. So to them, it looked too foreign and too crazy. However, when I started making some money from that, they started to realize that that might be not a bad opportunity for me. So that's, and then what kind of turned the tables, I started working on the Russian cruise ships. I call it the Love Barge.
How did you get that job?
I was performing, doing a tour around the country with a band, and somebody saw me and said, you should, if you want to have like a vacation, they will not pay much, but they will give you a cabin, which was a huge thing. Living in a communal apartment, you get your own cabin. Wow, that's cool. So I did one trip, and they really liked me a lot, and that was life-changing actually, because I asked them if they would let me bring my parents on the cruise, and they said, we're going to tell you what to do, you're not telling us what to do. And I said, well, then I won't be able to go. And they were really upset with me. And it's all owned by the government, so there was no many choices. So they said, well, then you will not work here ever again. And I said, okay, well, then so I went home, and that same day, we got a messenger to bring a package to us, saying that they would allow not only my parents would get a cabin, and I would get my own cabin, and please come back to the ship, which was unheard of. I never, thought of that, because everybody was the same in their models, so nobody was better than anyone else. So if they said, you're not going to work, you're not going to work. And so it was totally surprising. Came back on the cruise that day with my parents, and I talked to a cruise director, and I said, what is it that happened here? Because this is totally irregular. And he said, well, the captain of the ship saw you perform, and he said, I want him on this cruise, even if you have to give him my cabin. And he used to work with all the companies that are, from United States or Europe. They are used to rewarding somebody if they are better. So like the light bulb went in my head. I said, so if I'm more talented, I'll be able to have more things, or in my life. And they said, yeah, that's how capitalism works. So at that point, I was on my parents' case, going, we got to go to America. This was a deciding factor for me.